in bringing Gus, given the condition?
Yeah, I mean, before we even got here, we were probably thinking that's probably going to be a 3-seam and 1 spin, but then turning up yesterday, seeing the wicket, seeing it again today, I think going with two seamers and 2 spinners is probably the right call. We thought there would probably be a bit more, grass on the wicket just because of where we are, but overall, I think the wicket looks an absolute belter. So, playing the 2 seamers and still having our 2 spinners crashing Tom, I think gives us a good mixture. And when you're a little bit unsure about what it could do as the test match goes on, confident the team has gone with.
Describing the pitch as an absolute belter. Is there a chance for batters really licking the lips at this sort of wicket?
Yeah, it looks that way. I was saying if captain of a one-day team, I wouldn't want him to toss. You wouldn't know what to do, just how good the wicket looks. But yeah, again, we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out, and especially how it plays tomorrow with whether we're bowling or batting first. I think will give us a better idea of sort of how the game needs to play out.
Is this a chance to finish the tour on a high, salvage some success from that? I suppose do you still regard it as a success and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think 3-1. You go, it's not been a success, but I look at it sort of differently with completely different angles from that. I think we've definitely progressed as a team, albeit we've not got the results that we wanted. But 3-2 sounds better than 3-1 or 4-1, and that's obviously what we're looking to do. We'd obviously look to win every game that we go out there and play. It's not worked out in terms of that way when it comes to results, but we've got one last push here, which has been great and long tour, as India always is when you play 5 games. But we've got one last big push here. Great ground to do it at. Lots of Bamiyan coming in to support us this week, so very excited this week.
We've got Vish, Chris, and then Will.
Ben, yesterday you said it was probably not the case that you were going to bowl and that you wouldn't be selected to the teams if you were going to bowl, but it feels like maybe the uncertainty with conditions to a point and the balance of the attack suggests that might have opened up again. Is that the case, or sorry, I have to ask.
Unbelievable way of thinking about why we selected Team Fish, but no, it's like every time we pick a team throughout this tour, it hasn't been with any indication of me bowling. If I do bowl any overs in this game again, it will be a bonus, sort of like we've picked, the team for the 4 games before this.
Chris,
how are Ollie and Bash shaping up? I hear they're not very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to be too concerned about. They both woke up with, slightly upset stomachs, and obviously with the day before the game, you don't want to put anybody else at risk, so we just decided to keep him away from the team considering it's the day before the game.
I understand a couple of the officials have come down with something similar as well. Are you just trying to safeguard against a bug breaking out like you had in Pakistan?
Yeah, it's a sensible thing to do. When you've got so many people in, such a confined space all the time, you want to try and limit the chance of it spreading. So, keeping the 2 guys who are slightly unwell back at the hotel away from the guys today is a sensible thing to do.
And you're confident Bash will be fine tomorrow morning?
Certainly hope so, yeah.
Will, please.
Just on a similar note, Ben, have you got a contingency for if Bash doesn't pull up okay? Would that be a Gus Davey or Dan Lawrence? There's actually not too many of you here now, but it's probably only 2 choices.
I mean, if that's the case, we'll obviously have to consider what we think's best. But no, not sort of thought that too far ahead. As I said, it's not a major issue. We just wanted to safeguard against anything spreading to someone else.
And just on the one change, obviously Woody for Ollie Robinson, that decision was presumably made before Ollie went down ill. And is it just a conditions thing? Is that a conditioned decision about which kind of quick bowler you want?
Yeah, and again, with it looking a very good wicket, and we do feel like it looks like a wicket that could actually have a bit of pace and carry in it. So when you go your 2 seamers, obviously Jimmy's been Jimmy this trip. He's been absolutely awesome, and having a fresh Matt Wood on a wicket that feels like it's going to offer some pace. That's something that's been quite consistent throughout whenever we've gone with 2 seamers, is looking at having a bowler like Jimmy, but then wanting to have some pace and some firepower there to try and break the game open. And that's obviously with what we've gone with, and then having the two spinners. It sort of allows us to play, either conditions at different times throughout the test.
And just on Ollie, you obviously spoke very supportively of him this week, and Baz have done the same. But was he kind of desperate to, after a tough first outing back, was he desperate to get that opportunity this week and to kind of, I don't know, put it right might be a bit simple, but put in a big performance after last week? And was he a bit gutted not to make the 11?
Yeah, I think that's that's everyone's mindset should be desperation to play, regardless of how things work out in a game before. When it comes to selection, as I've said over and over again, we pick 11 that we think is going to give us the best chance of winning. And last week Ollie was part of that, and this week he's not, because we've gone with Woody with his extra pace. And yeah, as I said, everyone's attitude and desire should always be to put a performance in, and regardless of how something's gone the week before or anything like that. And I'm pretty confident that everyone who's on this tour and has been in the squad, that is their mindset.
We'll go Ali and then we'll take two at the front here, please.
Just on Ollie Robinson, obviously we saw Adelaide, Hobart, the Caribbean Tour, Headingley last year, Ranchi, where back issues have affected him. Does that kind of concern you in terms of looking at selection in future, because you're worried that you might end up halfway through a match a bowler down?
I'm in the position where I get to see all the hard work that goes into players. Should have gone blank here. Players' effort into giving themselves the best chance of being on the field. I get to see how everyone in the group prepares, the effort that they put in, and all the stuff away from cricket that is required to be a professional athlete. Ollie did everything in his power to put in a match-winning performance last week, and unfortunately not everything works out the way that we wanted to. So when you see someone putting in the hard work and showing that desire to not only be physically fit but mentally fit, whatever it may be, and then something happens to them that is uncontrollable, you can't really moan about that. Yes, it's not been the first time, but if someone's not doing the right things away from what we see on the TV or on the field, then you can question that. But when you see people working as hard as everyone does, it's very hard to go against that person, if that makes sense. As I say, I get to see everyone's work ethic that they put in towards what it is to be an England player and an international player. So, yeah.
Two at the front, man with the captain, and we'll take one more. Go ahead.
Ben, just wanted to ask, you guys came here with a reputation on your back. We have seen that incredible Ashes series that being 2-0 behind, you guys made a comeback and almost won the Ashes. And now when you guys came here, won the first test after coming back from the end. But after that, the way the series has panned out, and India probably they haven't had their best of their players, some of their players missing. So how disappointed are you as a captain? Probably this was, we all thought that this was your best chance to beat India in India. But now the series is as it is, and so how disappointed are you as a captain? And is there any disappointment in your dressing room as well?
Yeah, it's obviously going to be disappointing because we've lost some games out here, which means we've lost a series. But we progressed so much on this tour before we played. When in a results-based business, that can also sometimes sound a bit stupid and deluded. But you go on about India not having some of their best players. You look at the players that we came out here with. We were written off completely before we even played a series, before we played a game in the series. But Tom Hartley, Shoaib Bashir, people couldn't believe that we picked them. But now you look at what they've managed to achieve on this trip. We've seen Ollie Pope, that innings that he played. We've seen Ben Duckett. Think about the last tour he had in India. Seen how he's came out here and played, and how he's changed as a player and as a person. So when I'm looking at it from that of a progression of not only as a team but also from individuals, I'm very, very happy as a captain. I judge a lot of what we do as individuals as input towards the team, and everyone's input towards this team about wanting to grow and always constantly get better is what I've judged us on. 3-1 down, lots of series. When you look at it like that, you don't really then get a chance to look at actually how we progress as a team. And I've been very proud of everyone who's gone out there, and just looking at results and stuff like that, you don't really get a full understanding of actually how much that we progressed as a team out here in this tour. India's record at home is phenomenal. They're not going to be the only team to come here and lose a series, as their records show. I think saying because you've not had Virat, because you don't have some of your best players, is it a disappointing thing? Like, no, I look at how much a lot of individuals have progressed on this tour. And for me as a captain, it's good.
One here and then one with the captain here, thanks.
Yeah, Ben, there has been a lot of praise for your leadership style, especially captain, despite regardless of the scoreline right now. But as an opponent captain, how do you look at Rohit Sharma's captaincy? The way he has it is quite contrasting. The way, the methods, everything, tactics. Will you concede that in his quietly he has outsmarted the entire England team, or you, for that matter?
I'll let you decide.
No, I'm just because of scoreline. You keep talking about the way England has, but it could have been easily 4-0. Hyderabad was close encounter. That's why just a contrarian opinion.
That's fine, then I'll let you write what you write. Fine.
No, I'm asking about Rohit Sharma's your opinion, and because we all have been, everyone is talking about you. We haven't heard it from you on Rohit Sharma's captaincy.
I don't ask people to talk about it.
No, I'm just asking.
Move on. Last one here now.
Ben, just a word on James Anderson, who is likely to get a 700 test wicket. And I do believe that England have been the most challenging touring team for this Indian cricket team.
Jimmy coming at 700 wickets, it's phenomenal really to think about that, especially as a seam bowler. Amazing career up to date, and I just can't see him stopping. I played with Jimmy for a long, long time, and I've never seen him look as physically fit as he does right now. And being at 41 and still showing that hunger and desire to constantly get better every single day is a testament to his attitude and his commitment towards the game. We've been good in a lot of periods in this tour. But the one thing that I look back on is when the game has been in the balance. India have been better than us on those occasions, or more than once. You look at the first game when we needed to bowl India out for 220. I thought that we obviously were a lot better than them in that moment, and that was the big moment. Whereas the games after that, whenever the games have been on the line, I think that skill has been better than ours, whether that be India with a bat or India with a ball. That's one of those things. Is in a game of cricket, skill be skill, and in the moments that have mattered in the games since the first one, India have been better than us.
Okay, we're done. Thank you.
हमसे जुड़े रहने के लिए हमारे YouTube चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और नई वीडियो की नोटिफिकेशन के लिए बेल आइकॉन को दबाएं। अगर आप ये वीडियो Facebook पर देख रहे हैं तो लाइक जरूर करें और ज्यादा से ज्यादा शेयर करें। इसी तरह के और भी अपडेट्स के लिए फॉलो करें हमारा Instagram पेज himachal.kesari।